Hello, my name is Matthew Bush, and I am here today to present you my new ad concept for Levity Brewing Company, Not Just the Boys. So the problem that I'm addressing is how do we attract a growing number of women who like craft beer to Levity? I believe that at the Indiana location, by supporting the Women's Flag Football League, that has really gotten our foot in the door. So my suggestion would be to lean into that a little bit more. We need to support women's organizations, and we need to show that beer is not just a man's drink, that a lot of young women are going out and enjoying craft beer just the same, and that typically they spend more money than an average man would on a night out. From 2015 to 2018, 14.7 million drinkers were added to the craft beer scene, if you will. A bit below half of them were women. So why are we not trying to appeal to them more? Our last collaboration with a women's organization to produce the Flag Nabber beer was very successful, and it really got people interested. And not only are these young women coming in and buying our product, they're bringing their friends and they're bringing their boyfriends, which is even better. As I think we already have a pretty solid audience with the male demographic, I think women should be our target audience moving forward. They typically spend more money, as you can see by the graph there. That's $3 more per person per night on an average brewery visit. So why are we not focusing on women at all, really, in our advertisements? If we could attract more women to Levity, we could potentially increase our profits by 7 or 8%. On average, at our location and in craft breweries around the United States, 70% of the patrons are male, but studies show that women spend more per brewery visit. So our goal should be to get more women in the door enjoying our product. Preconceived notion of beer is that it is a man's drink, but this was not always the case. During the Middle Ages, women produced beer almost exclusively. This was seen as women's work, and at some point, this stopped and it became a man's world. However, as we can see, more and more women are enjoying beer and more brewing them themselves in own breweries. By continuing to showcase our support for women, women's causes, and women's businesses, we can dispel the myth that craft beer is just for the boys. My concept for this ad campaign would be a short video designed to be presented on TikTok, X, social media, like a short. It would show someone, a woman in a STEM major at a college, and she would be in a math class or an engineering class, something typically that would be reserved for men or thought of as, a man's profession. I would show her going through a typical day and having relatable frustrations like an annoying boss texting her or having trouble with an assignment or just having to work overtime, something that I think almost everybody can relate to. I think the tagline, not just for the boys, would be a very good call to action to get people to come in through the door. Our message through this ad will resonate with women as it will show someone in their age range enjoying our beer, doing things that are typically associated with men, like, for instance, managing a warehouse or being an engineer or an architect or being in any kind of STEM field. I think that we can really get people on board that Levity Brewing Company is about egalitarianism. Everyone is equal and everybody can enjoy our products just the same, regardless of gender. Now, I have a few aspirational examples to discuss with you. For instance, Volkswagen's 2022 Women's Day campaign featured somebody doing donuts in a parking lot in a race car. And then they don't explicitly tell you that this is a man driving, but if you're like me, you most likely assumed it was a man. But at the end, you find out that it's actually a young woman. And not only is she a race car driver, she is a medical student. And that's typically something that is a man's profession. For my second aspirational example, I looked at Microsoft's Make What's Next campaign. In this ad, if you haven't seen it, they ask a bunch of young girls, students in school, about inventors that they're learning about. And most of them can name famous ones that are male, like Ben Franklin or Thomas Edison, people like that. But they start asking them questions about, well, can you name any female inventors? And a lot of them can't. And the fact of the matter is, there's been a ton of female inventors. The example you see on screen is Mary Anderson invented the windshield wiper, something that almost everybody on the planet uses almost every day. I think we should lean into this because a lot of women think that they can't enter a STEM field. And I would imagine that the craft beer world is similar. They view this as a man's world, and, it's not for us, but we need to show them that it is. My final aspirational example is Netflix's Because She Watched campaign. If you haven't seen this ad, it does get meta. It shows a lot of Netflix's material that was created by women, featuring women, that kind of thing. And it not only promotes Netflix as a streaming service that support women's, but their content featuring female artists, directors, etc. And in the directing world, I think that is also viewed as a man's world. Not to say that there were not good female directors, but I mean, the most famous ones you'll hear about are usually men, like Martin Scorsese or Schumacher, or yeah, anybody that you can think of. If we do a similar ad, maybe not a meta one like at a brewery, but showing a woman going through a typical day doing things that men typically do, like studying a STEM field and managing a warehouse, I think that would really resonate with our target audience and get them to try our product at least and get in the door. To summarize my ideas, women are a fast growing demographic in the craft beer scene. For hundreds of years, beer has been seen as a male drink or culture. But over the past decade or so, craft beer has added over 6 million women in the United States alone, and these numbers continue to climb. If we can convince more women that beer is for everyone and not just men, we can really increase our profits and get our name out there. My ad will show a woman studying a STEM subject like math, engineering. It doesn't really matter. You're only going to see that part of the ad for a brief moment, and she'll be called into her management position at a warehouse. Having that annoying boss texting, we need you to cover the shift, blah blah. And then after a long hard day, she will go to a levity brew pub with her friends to unwind. To summarize my script, a young woman attending college is leaving a class, and she looks tired as she's leaving the room, her classmates exiting behind her. She looks down at her phone that it's blowing up, and she sees a variety of texts from her job. Where are you? We need you to cover, blah, blah. It'll then transition to her clocking out after her extra shift at a shipping warehouse. Think Amazon, but this will not be explicitly mentioned. We'll see her name tag, and it'll indicate that she's a shift supervisor. And we'll see her phone again, text from her friend simply saying, levity, with a smiley face. She'll smile, and a series of jump cuts will show her getting in the car, arriving at the brew pub, sitting down to the bar, and getting a beer. She'll order one of our most popular beers, tenured IPA, and we'll have a nice close-up shot of it going into a frosty mug. Before she gets to enjoy the drink, though, her face will light up as she sees something off screen. Her friends will come, and then she'll be excited, get up and hug them, and we can fade to black and show them quality craft beer isn't just for the boys, and then show our logo. Now, this is just a very rough storyboard of the ad that I want to run. I will let you look through it, and if there's any questions, feel free to stop and ask. But my main idea is long shot of classroom. We'll show her phone. We'll show her looking defeated after reading texts from her boss. I think the shot here, the close up of the locker, is going to be especially effective. For page 2, I again want to do a long shot of her facing away, but looking out into the vastness of the warehouse, hard hat, vest, and maybe have something break off screen, something that would just really make her shake her head like, oh my God, how could this day get any worse? Then we'll go to her clocking out for the day and another close up of her phone, getting a text from a friend, hey, levity, smiley face. She'll smile and be able to go to levity to unwind after what was probably an extra shift that she shouldn't have covered. And for the final, I think this will be the most important shot after she gets to the bar. We'll show the tenured tap handle and beer being poured into the mug. I think this is really going to entice people to at least come in and try the beer. And I really think a lot of them are going to love it. Now, as for locations, I don't think we'll need to spend a lot of money on that. I'm pretty sure that we can get a shot of a classroom. We might even be able to get students at the local college, IUP, to do some of the work for us, and it would be very cost effective. As far as a warehouse, I'm sure we could find some kind of space to do that, or we might even be able to use some stock footage there and just get the one good shot of our female protagonist looking backwards into the area. And then, of course, we see pictured here the Indiana location, which we may not use the specific location as we have just opened the Altoona branch as well. But that part really doesn't matter. We just want to show levity in general. As far as the cast, I think we could really go to IUP again and gather up some students. It wouldn't even necessarily have to be film students, just anybody that would want to be in our commercial. Because ideally, I would like to show regular people doing a regular day and unwinding after that day at a Levity Brewing location. And finally, for props, again, we need nothing crazy. Most of the shots will be of a phone. We can do up a fake ID with the things we want on it, a hard hat, and I think the most important prop of all, featuring 10-year double IPA in a frosty mug, quenching the thirst of a woman after a hard day. As far as the sound, I'm thinking won't have to do anything special for that either, other than maybe have a directional mic or a lavalier mic. But music, I would think something soft. I've included a sample if you would like to go and listen to that. Is an acoustic guitar track. I really want the ad to be about relaxation, as it would be for anybody. I just really wanted to thank you for your time today. And if you have any questions for me, you have my email and contact information. And these are where I pulled the numbers from as far as how much women have been growing as a demographic in the craft beer world